Şalar getirdiniz. Bugün ilginç olaylar oldu. Aslında biz Libya'yı dün geçen tezkere sonrasında Türkiye siyasetinin ve bölge siyasetinin gündeminde olacağını düşünürken dün gece meydana gelen bir hadise Irak'ta dünyanın da bizim de hepimizin dikkatini bir şekilde Irak'taki gelişmelere ve İran ile Amerika Birleşik Devletleri arasındaki ilişkilere yöneltti. Fakat öbür tarafta uzun süredir, aylardır Libya'da devam ede gelen çok ciddi bir kriz var ve bu ciddi krizin yani hem ulusal ölçekte hem bölgesel hem de küresel ölçekte çok ciddi implikasyonları olan bir kriz devam ediyor. Türkiye'de bu krizin taraflarından birisi olarak dün attığı adımla kusura bakmayın, kulaklık getirebilir misiniz arkadaşlar? O ne demek ya? Biz İngilizce mi konuşacağız? Bunu başta niye söylemiyorsunuz? Bir kapıyı açar mısınız oradan? Bilgehan. Hocam bir son dakikada olunca bir tedarik sorunu yaşadık maalesef. Well, we have a strange problem we have never experienced before. We have translators, but from English to Arabic. So I was asked to speak in English rather than in Turkish. I was just mentioning last night's event. You know, there has been a significant crisis going on in Libya. Yesterday, Turkey took a huge step towards the crisis. So Turkey is determined to be part of the Libyan crisis by deciding to send military troops to Libya. So today we have two distinguished guests and three experts who will share their views with us. We have Mr. Emrullah İşler, who is a member of parliament from Ankara province, but at the same time, who is the Turkish representative of Libya. So he is the responsible person and the one who follows the Libyan developments for Turkey in the name of Turkey. And we have the president of Libyan State High Council, the president of the High Council, Mr. Khalid Mishri. So two quite relevant persons to listen today. And we have a panel, again, both from Libya and from Turkey, from SETA. SETA has been studying and watching developments in Libya for the last 2 years. We have a team specifically concentrating on the Libyan crisis, and two of this part of this team will share their views. As a matter of fact, Murat Yeşiltaş, among them, spent several days just last week in Libya observing the developments in Tripoli. So Mustafa Sakızlı from Libya, Murat Yeşiltaş, and Bilgehan Öztürk from SETA will also be sharing their views today. I'm sorry for this inconvenience about translation. I don't know how we will manage to the end of it. I hope most of you know English, so I will ask my friends to speak in English unfortunately, both Bilgehan and Murat Yeşiltaş will be speaking in English. And Alhamdulillah, Mr. Emrullah İşler speaks well. I mean, he is a professor of Arabic language and Arabic literature. So we don't mind that he will present his speech in Arabic, باللغة العربية, inshallah. So let's give the first floor to Mr. Emrullah İşler. Please, the floor is yours.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أيها السادة والسيدات أيها الإخوة السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته أرحب بكم وأتمنى لكم ندوة مفيدة إن شاء الله
نستفيد forum that we can benefit from. I thought that I was going to be talking in Turkish, but that's fine, since I know the situation very well and I can summarize our opinion in Arabic. Of course, there is a political crisis in Libya, first of all. And I was appointed as a special envoyee like 5 years ago. My first visit was to Tobruk, which is the eastern area, and I met the parliament, the head of the parliament there, Mr. Akil As-Saleh. And there I did give him these messages. I said that there is a political crisis in Libya, so there should be a political solution, and the mechanism should be dialogue. And after that, Turkey said that we do not, or we refuse the external interventions in the Libyan crisis. And we said that Turkey do support the sovereignty of Libya, the unity of Libya, and we said that Turkey is standing on the same distance from all. And then I did mention to the Libyan side, Mr. Akil said that we are ready for mediation if you would like. But he said no. He refused completely, and he said that there is an UN initiative, and we don't need any other initiatives. And I told him that Turkey also supports this initiative, the UN initiative, and of course we supported that initiative. And before the Sukhairat agreement and the meeting there, there was a lot of meetings was held in Tunisia, Morocco, Libya, and we were there in all these meetings. Despite that, and we also were in the Roma meeting before the Sukhairat meeting. And I'd like to remind you that in the Roma meeting there was 17 countries participating in international organizations, the UN, EU, the Arab League, the African Union, all of them. And all these institutions, international institutions, existed or were there in the Rome meeting before the Sukhairat meeting. And all of these countries supported the political agreement, and before the 17th of December we were in Sukhairat as Turkey, a side party, and the political agreement was signed. The political agreement, in fact, one of its outcomes was that there would be 3 legitimate authorities. One of them is the the NGA, Fa'ed Sarraj, heading it. And after that we had the Parliament Council that was in Tobruk, and they agreed on changing the NGA into the higher council, and Mr. Khalid is the head of the council. So this is an advisory position, and Mr. Khalid will mention that, and he will give you a statement in a bit. So these are the authorities, legitimate authorities. The political agreement actually finished the division in Libya. There were 2 agreements, 2 governments, sorry, and it was out of action and role. And by that agreement, in March 2016, Mr. Sarraj moved from Tripoli, the capital, and I was the first one who visited him as a foreigner in April, I recall. And he started his position or work there. So the political agreement finished the division of Libya from east and west, because there were this agreement talking about that we have a Tobruk council existing. So will that have a special government depending on this political agreement? No. So there is a legitimate party, the only one in the Libyan arena, which is the NGA. Headed by Faiz Sarraj. So Turkey deals with this government. And after the political agreement, Turkey tried its best, its hard efforts to implement this agreement, this political agreement. But unfortunately, we saw that there is duplications and there is dilemmas, and the governments actually implementing different strategies to deal with this agreements, and that in different institutions, even in the institutions that supported this agreement. Haftar wasn't there in the political agreement, and there was no article stating Haftar at all or giving him any authorities, accreditation, or any role. For this reason, this is an illegitimate party, and despite all of that, he was supported a lot by financially and even by weapons, etc. So he became very spoiled because of this policies. And before the overall meetings and the General Secretary of the UN was there in Tripoli, and he moved forward to Tripoli very vigorously, and that shows that this person do not want to have a political solution. He wants a military solution, and this solution is completely refused by our side, and we think that this will not give any right solution. The democratic system needs to be implemented in Libya, and we need to solve the crisis accordingly as a political solution. So there is the Berlin track. Turkey was there in that track, and we had 5 meetings in that regard, and Turkey was in all of these meetings. The special envoy, Mr. Ghassan Salama of the UN, will have 3 meetings in this month with the main political party players in Libya. One of them will be about economy, the second will be about military, and the third one will be political. But up until now, we did not hear from the other party because they did not name 5 people from the military to actually create a political, a military meeting to ceasefire, etc. So this shows that these other parties do not want a political solution. This is very obvious. And we heard just a while ago that there was a hit, an attack on the airport of Motika. And this shows that the other party is continuing in trying the military solution. Sorry. And this is, for us, is not acceptable and refused completely. And we're not living in the 21st, we are living in the 21st century. We don't have dictatorship anymore. And people, especially the Arab people, don't want dictatorship to be leading them anymore. They want to move forward to democracy, to have freedoms and human rights, etc. And thus Turkey supports this legitimate request of the Arab nations. And we have seen that there are also there are some countries saying that they are democrats, and there are some countries saying that they are the land of democracy, but their actions shows that they don't want democracy except for themselves. They want to monopolize that, and they don't want democracy for other countries. countries. And now we're living in the 21st century. People are changing, and everyone needs to know that this phenomena. So Turkey yesterday, and before moving to that, what happened yesterday, on the 27th of November, Turkey signed 2 memoranda of understanding with the NGA. And one of them was about the delineation of coastal waters, and the second one about the military and security agreement. So depending on this, our president have declared on TV that if there is a request, official request from the legitimate government of Libya, we might send military support to support democracy and freedom in Libya. Logistical and military support to stop the attacks on the Tripoli, the capital. And on that, the request has been sent. Of course, NGA requested that from 5 countries: America, UK, Italy, Algeria, and Turkey, and military support to stop this attack on Tripoli, the capital, and to fight terrorism on their lands. Turkey was the only party who answered this request, and yesterday we authorized we have actually the memorandum of authorization was accepted by the parliament to send troops to Libya, and we will discuss that in the upcoming days. That will be in Tripoli and in other Libyan lands, territories. So some things that this is an intervention. We do not accept this naming, this because the intervention is without authorization. So the government, the legal government, requested officially from Turkey, from other countries as well, and Turkey responded to this request. So this does not mean a foreign intervention, but actually a support, a military support, depending on the memorandum of understanding that we have signed on the collaboration, the military and security support. And my Libyan brothers also know that the military and security system needs to be reformed in Libya, and Turkey is ready to give this support in reform in this sector in Libya, and to support or to actually also train this sector in Libya, and if needed we might also give training, military training and security training in the Turkish territories as well. So Turkey is not interfering in Libya affairs. No, it will exist in Libya depending on the request of the legitimate government of Libya to support it, to reform its security and military sector, and to give logistical support also to the legitimate government. I would like to reiterate again that Turkey is with the political solution, and up until today Turkey tried to or spent a lot of effort to find a political solution. And this is very important. Turkey refuses any solution other than that, and refuses any intervention in the Libyan territory, and do not approve any dictatorship to be in Libya. I've been living with the Libyans for 5 years, and I know my brothers they would not agree on living under a dictatorship umbrella, under a military regime. So here I would like to say that to Haftar, or those who think like him, that they will have no future in Libya. Their future in Libya will be for the Democrats and those who believe in the state, the civilian state. Of course, we have signed also another memorandum of understanding, which is the delineation of the coastal water. I would like to talk about that as well. Turkey have actually kept its rights in the Mediterranean. especially in the eastern areas of the Mediterranean, and kept its rights of the North Cypriots of Turks. And Turkey has mentioned that in the Memorandum of Understanding, and Libya also is benefiting from this Memorandum of Understanding of this agreement. So with this MOU, we have expanded our coastal land authorities or field, both sides, and we are ready to negotiate, to talk, or to be in a dialogue with the other countries in the Mediterranean, with the condition of without having a dialogue with the southern Cyprus, because there is an existing problem. Without solving this problem, we cannot have a dialogue here. And we know that the EU has had actually faced or shown a lot of different policies here. They did not want to solve the problem of South Cyprus. You know that the island has been now separated into North and South, and so we do not see it as a legitimate state, the South Cyprus. And other than that, we are open for all kind of dialogue. And to reach an exclusive and just solution. This is what we want to find. With signing this MOU between Libya and Turkey, actually Egypt is another beneficiary of this MOU. Despite our trial to sign a MOU with Egypt also for years now, and even from the times of Mubarak, we were not able to reach that level. Unfortunately, Egypt signed MOUs with South Cyprus in 2003, and also 2007 with Lebanon, and 2010 with Israel. So Turkey again is ready to negotiate with all the neighboring countries in the Mediterranean, but I would like to remind you that Turkey has the longest coastal in the Mediterranean, 1,729 kilometers. So do you think that the borders, the coastals and also the islands, of course the international law give us this opportunity from the international law, and also the convention about the convention about the maritime convention also allow us to sign such agreements, and this MOU also. So building on that convention, we are able to sign this MOU, and we are able to send military support to ensure the implementation of this MOU between us and between Libya in terms of the delineation of the coastal water. So we are sending our forces to support the Libyan army, military, and also and if someone actually tries to hurt us, they will be answered to. We will answer to that. Our forces there will be to only as a defensive. We will try to defend the government there, and will play a role to defer the other parties and to try to find a solution to ceasefire. Actually, we want to have this to reach this level of ceasefire, to be able to reach the political solution in Libya. We hope for the Libyan brothers to support, to actually win and succeed at the end. Of course, it's a very complicated issue, having the international entities supporting financially and military, and by military also to the General Haftar, who has committed a lot of terrorist attacks and war crimes also. And I really believe that he has no future in Libya. And of course, he will be punished in the future for his crimes. So I will stop here, and I hope that thank you for being here and listening to us, and inshallah I'll be listening to my other brothers giving their speeches as well. Thank you.
شكرا جزيلا لك.
A brief presentation about Turkey's foreign policy towards the Libyan crisis. Before inviting Khalid El-Mishri, I want to mention 2 points. The first is, which was mentioned by Mr. Emrullah İşler. The first point is, the United Nations has recognized the government in Tripoli as the only legitimate government, the only representative of the Libyan people. However, on the contrary, when we look at the scene on the ground, we see that almost all global and regional powers, they have been supporting the illegal actor in Libya. I mean, from the United States to Russia, from France to Egypt, to Saudi Arabia, to the United Arab Emirates, all these countries, they have formed a coalition against the only legitimate government in Tripoli. And Turkey, besides several other countries, they have been supporting insistently the only legitimate government. And Turkey has been pressuring the other side to come to the point to accept a political solution to the Libyan crisis. Unfortunately, as Mr. Special Representative has just mentioned, that the large coalition supporting General Haftar has been insistently demanding for a military solution. That's today, yesterday, the attack started in April 9, continued, and they have been putting pressure, forcing the legitimate government to lay down the weapons and give the floor to General Haftar. And Turkey has entered into the game as a game changer. So yesterday's decision probably will contribute quite a lot to the future of crisis. This is our expectation, our hope. So it will change the conditions on the ground. Now I want to invite Mr. Khalid El-Mishri to present a Libyan perspective to us. Please, the floor is yours.
السلام عليكم. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. أظن أن الدكتور أمر الله بارك الله فيه أعطى إحاطة شاملة على المسار السياسي تاريخيا في ليبيا.
And I'd like to stress some of the points that he mentioned. Following the revolution in February, the only legitimate body was the National Conference. And before the formation of any other body, or before even the elections, the conspiracies against this National Conference started to deploy, and we had a coup against the conference in 2014 in February. This coup was led by Haftar. At the time, there was no other authority in Libya. The coup was declared and the dissolution of the conference was announced, in addition to the freezing of the constitutional declaration. However, this coup was publicized only via Al Arabiya channel from United Arab Emirates. So it was very clear who's conspiring against the legitimate government in Libya. After the failure of this coup, Haftar went to the eastern part of the country and started to trigger the conflict and to trigger against the National Conference several campaigns were launched media campaigns led by Egypt and United Arab Emirates in order to topple this legitimate government. And then there were pressures to hold early elections. They were held, in fact, but they were not held in a natural manner, and I personally decided against them, and the higher constitutional court in Libya issued its decision against the results of these elections. The parliament rejected the constitutional court's decision, and this conflict ended with the Skhirat agreement. Part of the authority was given to the parliament, and part of the authority was given to the National Conference, and then it was turned into the higher council of the government, and then the GNA, or Government of National Accord, was formed. There's an important point in the Skhirat agreement, which is all military posts for both sides in the parliament and in the National Conference are vacant posts till after the implementation of the agreement. However, Haftar rejected this article in the agreement, and he declared that he's against this political agreement that was accepted by all Libyans and by all the international community, including the United Nations, and it was recognized in all the following UN Security Council resolutions, and it was the basis or the basic main reference for the following agreements. The current military actions supported by foreign countries during this conflict happened. They included military attacks against the legitimate government in Tripoli, including airstrikes by the United Arab Emirates and Egypt and the French as well. One of the airplanes that were downed included a French one with the crew on the plane. It was in 2014, so they have been military involved in 2014. So Haftar forces are supported by all advanced military equipment in order to kill the democratic track in Libya. When we talk here about the democratic track, we're focusing on this because following the coup against Morsi in Egypt, the Egyptian current government tried to duplicate their attempt in Libya, and the Libyans were against this. That's why the conflict continues. However, throughout all of these years, we are still looking for partners to stand with us in this conflict and in this struggle. Turkey from the beginning tried to play a role and to contact all parties. This was clear for us. They tried to contact the parliament. However, the other party, because of their bias and because of their own consideration and sensitivities towards Turkey, and here I'm talking about United Arab Emirates and Egypt, they rejected the role of Turkey. I'd like to note that it would be dangerous to let this access of the United Arab Emirates and Egypt to succeed. They have formed a coalition that is trying to encircle Turkey in the region, including in the Mediterranean. This area, the eastern part of it specifically, all of the involved countries, they are not on the same page with Turkey about its policy. And we can say that the strongest partner for Turkey in the Middle East area is Libya. Our relation has been exemplary throughout the past years, and the maritime agreement is an old one actually, or let me say the actual articles are old, and during the reign of Muammar al-Gaddafi we reached this new agreement. However, his opinion was that the government currently in Greece is a government that is problematic, and signing the agreement at the time would lead to further problems with it. That's why Muammar al-Gaddafi delayed the delineation agreement till now, and now 12 years after postponing the signing of the agreement for 12 years, now we have that. When the agreement was signed or ratified, other countries were not happy at all. They were trying by all means to impose sanctions on Turkey, including economic sanctions, and I'm referring to Italy and Eni company specifically, who have large part of the investments with Greece, and Total company that represents the French policy. So right after the agreement, on the next day, the Italian Prime Minister went to Egypt and met with Sisi, and he went there not as a Prime Minister but as a representative of the Eni company and a defender of the economic interests for this company. Let's say, God forbid, Haftar manages to dissolve or to overcome the government of national accord, which is unlikely, but let's say that, because he's benefiting or using the support from Chad, from Sudan, and forces from United Arab Emirates as well, and experts from United Arab Emirates, from Egypt, and with France as well, and we have evidence to that, and we published this when we noted that after or when we seized advanced weaponry after the attack the French took part in. So there was a huge international coalition supporting Haftar. So what we need actually is also a coalition with a strong political, economical and historical ties to support us. This partner or this ally is Turkey. Since I am come from an economic background, I'll talk about investments in Libya very quickly, and I'll talk about the Turkish investments in Turkey throughout the past years. Among the leading Turkish companies investing in Libya, the investments reached $5 billion and $6 billion with partnership. We are talking about currently operating companies, and we have pledges for $13 billion with contracts with many Turkish companies, including purely Turkish companies and Libyan Turkish partnerships. So this partnership or collaboration between Turkey and Libya is a strategic one. It's not a tactical one. It's not only about current interests. It serves the mutual long-term interest of both countries. And perhaps after the colleagues have their discussion, maybe we can have some questions if you have any about this topic. The public opinion in Libya is, let's say, 70 to 70% of the Libyan people are supportive of the Turkish presence and of the Turkish interest in Libya, because in the past years they were affected by the coalition of evil led by Egypt and United Arab Emirates, supported by Russia and France. I'd like to thank you for listening to me, and I'd like to thank SETA for giving us this opportunity. And I'd like to say that I have another parliamentarian in the government, Mr. Fawzi Lagab, who is from the eastern area in Libya. He is representative of a strong political current in the eastern area of Libya, and he represents the higher council of Libya in general as well. I'd like to note that the higher council in Libya is the only one that includes representatives of all areas and political currents. We don't have a parliament now. The total number of parliamentarians or members was 188. Many of them withdrew, and now we have only 170. And however, till now, we have only 20 active members. The majority of them defected or resigned from their membership in the parliament. Whereas in the parliament in Tripoli is being now formed. We have 61 members, and this number is increasing, and all of them are supportive of the strategic coalition with Turkey. I thank you again. I thank Mr. Amrullah and all the organizers. And of course, I'd like to thank Mr. Imrah, though he's not with us today. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. شكرا جزيلا لك.
Now I want to invite the speakers for the panel. Yes, please. You know, when we talk about the Libyan crisis, I think that Libya is not known quite widely or sufficiently among the Turkish public opinion. You know, personally, I think Turkish-Libyan relations is a special bilateral relationship. There are certain turning points in Turkish-Libyan relations, especially when we look at the 20th century. We see that during the early 1910s, when the Ottoman Empire was declining, it had sent several famous military men to Libya to support the Libyan people in their resistance against the occupation, the Italian occupation. That is military men such as Mustafa Kemal, Enver Pasha, Fethi Pasha, and many others. And unfortunately, they had to return, they had to come back after another front was opened between the Balkan states and the Ottomans. Another turning point is during the early 1950s, when the United Nations recognized the independence of the Libyan state. A Turkish citizen was invited to Libya to work as the Prime Minister of Libya. A Turkish bureaucrat was sent to Libya. His name is Saadullah Koloğlu. He was the real first prime minister working for the Libyan state. Can you imagine this? You know, a state, the trust between the two countries, the level of the trust between the two sides. So they are the one who asked from the Turkish government to send a bureaucrat to rule the country for the Libyan people until they recover their conditions in Libya. The third turning point is the 1980s, when Prime Minister Turgut Özal had decided to open the Turkish economy to the world and to integrate the Turkish economy with the world economy. Libya was one of the first destinations where the Turkish businessmen landed. So this was quite significant. You know, the reason it was one of the main friendly countries to Turkey. And now we have been experiencing a fourth turning point in Turkish-Libyan relations. And I believe, similar to the previous three turning points, they will successfully pass this turning point, and inshallah, at the end of this crisis, they will manage to strongly sit on the negotiation table. So we hope that this negotiation table will set up soon, inshallah. Sorry for this long introduction. Now I want to give the floor to Mustafa Sakızlı first. Then we'll continue with our two Turkish SETA people. The floor is yours, please.
شكرا جزيلا بروفيسور محي الدين. تحياتي للسادة الحضور، السيد خالد المشري رئيس مجلس الدولة، والسيد فوزي العقاب، وسعادة الدكتور أمر الله إشلار. أود الحديث أن أوجه حديثي بالنسبة لليبيا في اتجاهين. الاتجاه الأول وهو مهم للغاية وهو التاريخ المشترك.
The common history, which is a bit distorted, that the enemies of both countries try to create. And then the future. We'll talk about the future, where my previous speakers have actually talked about the political aspects and the current situation. Historically speaking, as you both all know, there are some facts that are very important, especially that will have importance in the upcoming periods, because there are a lot of distortion by the enemies. They say that the Libyan-Turkish relations, historically speaking, is a relationship of the occupying and those who've been occupied, but this is not true. The relationship between Turkey started in 1551. Libya was occupied by the Fursan Yohanna, by the Crusades, and they were in the Rhodes and Malta Islands, and the Spanish gave them Libya, and it was occupied in 1510, and they stayed there for 20 years. Spain, after kicking out the Muslims from Indonesia, they, with the support of the Ottoman Empire, they started to actually come to these Muslims were able to go to Libya, but then they gave the power to the knights of the Yohanna, and they started to try to occupy Libya from all sides, from Tripoli, etc. And then the Sultan Süleyman Kanuni wanted to support to free Libya from the Crusades, and then Kanuni Süleyman had actually asked one of the most important generals in the maritime of the Ottomans to send these supporters, and they helped Libyans to get rid of this of these attacks. And this is a true history. So the Libyan requested the Ottomans to come, and they were never occupiers, the Ottoman Empire. And then they started to continue to support the Libyans in creating democracy in Libya, and they created this victory, the partnership. They created a very powerful government state that actually were able to control a big part of the Mediterranean. And you can read the history of the 4 years that the war between Libya and the American fleet that ended by the defeat of the Americans in 1805. So our history is a victorious history, full of partnership. And as mentioned by Mr. Muhyiddin at the end with 1911 and 1912, when Mustafa Kemal Atatürk and Nuri Pasha and Anwar Pasha arrived to Libya to support the revolutionist Libyan to kick out the occupiers of from Italy, and thus the Çanakkale and the Balkans wars actually witnessed the support of both parties, Libya and Turkey, where they supported each other there as well. So this is the real history that they try to actually distort or change. The other point, which is the future, what will happen next? The Parliament actually yesterday approved the Memorandum for Understanding or Memorandum for Authorization to send troops to or support to Libya. But to be able to succeed in this partnership, we need to have different angles existing also or tracks. One of these that will need to come with the military support is the acts of the media. As I mentioned, there's a lot of distortions about the realities, and there is a lot big campaigns about this understanding and this the true nature of this. There's a lot of parties who don't want the good for the Libyans and the state of Libya or the government of Libya. So they say that this is occupation and this is a new invasion and etc. etc. And they do campaigns in this regard. So we need to have this, have a campaign, a media project that actually sheds the light on the realities, gives the real information. We need to get into also some military operations where we will have death or casualties. So we need to have the right media projects to inform or talk about the realities that our Turkish brothers are here to support us. They're not here as invaders or to occupy us or to actually control the resources of Libya. They're saying that Turkey will appoint a military governor to Libya, which is completely false. So imagine, that's why we need to have a right media discourse to fight all of this misinformation flying around. Also, we need to think about something that has been discussed so far, that this partnership needs to also have a collaboration on creating a Libyan system of military and security, which is a structure that is very strong that actually keep the sovereignty of Libya and take care of the law in the security sector reform. So we need to have a security sector reform. And here I would like to tell you that SETA, with the participation of a lot of experts of Libya, and I've been really honored to be a part of this project, created a very holistic program to talking about the security or military sector reform built on best practices internationally. So these kind of projects are needs to be in the light now. Today it's the right time to make sure that this participation or this collaboration between Turkey and Libya succeed from all angles. And as mentioned by the other speakers, also Libya needs a reform in the security and military system sector, from the structure, etc. And we have a problem of the armed group disseminations. We need to have programs in reintegrating rehabilitation of the armed groups. And taking care of or looking at the best practices from Somalia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, etc. So we need to take care of that aspect as well. Also, in this partnership, we need to take into consideration that the Libyans are facing very strong or hard times. There are problems in hygiene. They don't have continuous electricity. We have a lot of problems in communication, and the airports are not working or functioning properly. So at the end of the day, people they will respond and will feel the importance of this partnership if they see the difference on the ground, if they see that this participation or this partnership created a win-win for their citizens, for their children in the daily life. And of course, we know that Turkey have these abilities in the issues of infrastructure and support of the municipalities in terms of electricity and hygiene, etc., and water. And also, as mentioned by Mr. Khalid, the partnership in development and economy or commerce. We need to reform or rebuild economy and reactivate the project that been actually signed before the revolution. We had a problem in the re-entry of the Turkish companies in Libya because there is no security. But with this memorandum of understanding, I think it will be easier for the companies to return after we get rid of this assault and the violators. And with this levels, we can create a secure zone where the companies can come back and rebuild the country. And also, one of the things that I think that are very important, and we did research in that regard, is to reconnect or create a networking between the private sector, the Turkish and the Libyan ones. Libya needs huge amount of SMEs or small and medium-sized enterprises and projects, because otherwise we will not be able to run the economy correctly. So we need to rebuild the entrepreneurship projects, to rebuild the economy from an economy that is reliant mostly on the government or the state into an economy that relies on itself or private sector. So, and Turkey has a good experience here, so we need to reactivate this SMEs, the entrepreneurship, the startup economy. So we created an incubator of business in Istanbul to connect between the Libyan and the Turkish companies, startups. So we might concentrate on these projects to enhance it. So finally, the partnership between Turkey and Libya, security and military partnership, yes, but it needs to be a partnership that is built to or created to rebuild the state. To build the economy, the security, the state in whole. And then even the opponents, the opposite parties in Libya that was deceived by the misinformation seen Turkey as the occupier will change their opinion in Turkey, because they haven't seen any development so far. But if we can actually have quick wins and recreate new projects, I'm sure that a lot of Libyans will change their mind and be a pro to this partnership. Thank you. نعم، الآن أريد أن أقدم الكلمة إلى سيد مراد يشيلتاش. تفضل.
The floor is yours.
So I will be very quick as much as possible to explain my comments on Libya and Turkey-Libyan agreement. So I would like to focus on more strategic aspect of Turkey's Libyan policy by taking into consideration two main points. The first one is about Turkey's strategic rationality behind the memorandum of understanding signed between Turkey and Libyan government and the Turkey's main challenge following the Turkish military deployment to Libya. So I would like to focus on two main elements. So it seems that I think there is a mutually constitutive strategic benefit for both sides in terms of their challenges, both Turkey's challenges in the context of Mediterranean and in the context of Libyan crisis, and of course the Libyan government, the challenges of the Libyan government in the context of regional geopolitical, competition over the Libya. So first of all, when we look at the Turkey's strategic rationality behind its policies vis-a-vis Libya, we have to look at four different dynamics, if you like, the four different important driving factors behind Turkey's foreign policy. I think all of these four factors heavily shape Turkish strategic vision towards Libya. So first of all, the first important point and driving factors regarding Turkey's Libyan strategy is the reaction of Turkey in the context of its geopolitical isolation in the Middle East, especially after the Syrian civil war. So Turkey's military involvement in Syria and the rising anti-Turkish coalition in the context of Mediterranean, which is composing of Greece, Egypt, Israel, and other states are the main factors. So therefore, Turkey's policies towards Libya, I think, is a reactionary strategy in terms of recalibrating Turkey's position in the Middle East and in the Mediterranean and in the Libyan crisis. So therefore, it's a reactionary strategy, first of all. Secondly, since its military intervention in Syria, I think Turkey has positioning itself as the the main actor which capable to react the regional balance of power in the Middle East following the Arab Spring. So Turkey's military activism emerged as a reaction towards this kind of anti-Turkish coalition in the Middle East. So therefore, Turkey's, I think, strategy regarding the military activism is another driving factors behind the Turkey's foreign policy or security policy towards Libya. So this military activism has also many dimensions in terms of Turkey's forward military base policy. So Qatar, for example, is one of the important pillar of Turkey's new military activism in the context of Middle East. I think Libya is another textbook example to see how Turkey is trying to recalibrate its military activism in the context of former military base. I am not sure whether Turkey's military action in the Libyan crisis will turn to establish a military base in Libya, but it seems that Turkey has to, manage its military presence by establishing military base sooner or later. So therefore, Turkey's, I think, military activism is one of the important dynamics behind Turkey's Libyan strategy. So thirdly, establishing counterbalance coalition in the region is another, I think, driving factor behind Turkey's Libyan involvement. So when we look at the Turkey's struggle to establish the counterbalance coalition in the region, Libya, I think, is at the epicenter of Turkey's counterbalance seeking. So especially President Erdoğan's surprise visit actually to Tunisia was one of the important moves to establish such a counterbalance coalition in the context of Libya against the Saudi-led, or if you like, Saudi Emirates-led coalition in the region. I think if Turkey's military deployment will achieve its strategic objectives, probably Turkey's counterbalancing move will be successful. So the last one is about the last driving factors is about the Turkey's policies in the context of international actors. There are many actors, as you know, and the Libyan conflict is not a local conflict in which regional and international actors have many stakes to consolidate their strategic objectives. But taking a military and political responsibilities on the ground will probably provide more freedom of maneuver to Turkey to reshape its relation with the international actor. In the absence of France, United States, and other international actors except Russia, Turkey's military and political involvement will probably shape its relation with the Western countries. So when we look at the Turkey's position in the context of Syrian civil war, I think Libya will be another important strategic asset for Turkey to reconfigure its relation with the Western countries. It will also shape Turkish-Russian rapprochement in the Libya following the Turkish military deployment. So this, as a second point, when of course Turkey has multiple strategic priorities in the context of Libya, but Turkey has also challenges. So Mr. Mustafa underlines some of the challenges, but I think these challenges are really important in order to deliver Turkey and Libyan government strategic objectives. So first of all, Turkey's military deployment first and foremost seeks to push back Khalifa Haftar from Tripoli. This is one of the important military objective of Turkey and Libyan government. But in order to do that, I think first of all Turkey should focus on security sector, in which after the revolution, Libyan state in terms of security components or security institution have been very weak. So therefore, Turkey should focus on the weakness of security sector, and Turkey, of course, enforced to reorganize the security sector in order to push back Khalifa Haftar in a very short time period. So the second challenge probably for Turkey is the differentiation of the expectation. Of course, Turkey and the expectation of Turkey and Libyan government are the same, but in terms of the short-term and mid-term objectives, there are two different expectations. While the Libyan government, legal government, is trying to push back Khalifa Haftar and wanted to declare an absolute victory, I'm not sure Turkey is ready to achieve this kind of military objective. It requires a very comprehensive military operation in which Turkey does not have any clear idea about about its military operation, the type of military operation. So therefore, I mean, the type of military operation or the motivation of military operation will be crucial to achieve both countries, both governments' strategic objectives, whether it will be an offensive or defensive or the deterrence in terms of Turkey's military role in Libya. This is, I think, really important. If Turkey is going to take an offensive military role, we have a absolutely different operational theater, which cannot be compared with the Syrian civil war, in which Turkey has been militarily active since 2016. So therefore, I think Turkish government should seriously take into consideration the Libyan conflict in terms of its nature and in terms of objectives of government of national accord. Of the final, challenges for Turkey, as well as, of course, government of national accord, is the potential counter-reaction which will, will come from the counter-coalitions. So I think Turkey's military involvement, the type of military involvement, is extremely important in terms of, you know, understanding the potential counter-reaction from other side. So if Turkish military involvement will accelerate or trigger the conflict between the parties, then it will be very difficult to manage the conflict all across the Libya. So therefore, I think Turkey, from a very militaristic perspective, Turkey have to take into consideration the potential and possible escalation in the context of Libyan conflict. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Yeşiltaş, for this concise presentation. Now I want to give the floor to Bilgehan Öztürk, who will also focus on different dimensions of the Libyan crisis. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. I would like to say that it's a pleasure, first of all, to speak before His Excellency Mr. Emrullah İşler and also His Excellency Mr. Khalid El-Mishri, along with the other members of this highly distinguished audience. The title of this panel discussion is, has two dimensions, two elements within it. The first one is Turkish policy towards Libya, and the second one is the future of Libyan crisis. For these two elements, in order for us to make any analysis for these two elements, we have to take into consideration something, which is Russia. And in this short presentation, I will try to analyze what Russia wants in Libya and, you know, how Russia views the issue in Libya. I would like to say something right away, which is, as Turkey, we are in opposite camps with Russia in Libya. This is no surprise. There is nothing to be worried about because we have, you know, I mean, Turkey and Russia were and still in opposite camps in Syria, and they proved to be capable of working out their differences and being in opposite camps. So they will do the same in Libya. So actually, the very reason why we have Sochi and Astana platforms is, you know, is the fact that Turkey and Russia are, you know, opposite camps. I will focus on the fact that Russia came to the fore in this latest assault as the you know, big supporter of Haftar forces. I have to say that Russia is against the memoranda of understanding that were reached between the GNA and Republic of Turkey, and the latest assault by the Haftar forces towards the GNA is about this memoranda of understanding. This is a response and reaction by Russia to this memoranda of understanding. There are many reasons for Russia to undertake such a course. Russia, until the point where Turkey authorized the military to be deployed in Libya, Russia tried to reverse and roll back the gains of Republic of Turkey and also the GNA in Libya. If Haftar becomes successful in, you know, invading Tripoli and taking down the UN-recognized government there, that means the memorandum of understanding would be annulled. So that is what Russia tried to achieve, at least until recent days. Why Russia tried to, you know, achieve such an outcome? Because what Turkey and the GNA did was changing the dynamics in the Eastern Mediterranean and also within Libya. So by supporting Haftar, it tried to achieve the outcome that the GNA would be taken down, and Haftar would be controlling whole of the country, and this would make you know, the previous status quo to be reactivated in Eastern Mediterranean. Russia, before the, you know, reachment of this memorandum of understanding, was happy with the stalemate and status quo in Eastern Mediterranean, in which there were two camps, two coalitions. On the one hand, Israel, Egypt, Southern Cyprus, Greece, and on the other hand, Turkey and Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. In a way, this is also an act by Russia to show the limits to a middle power and a small power, which are Turkey and Libya in this case. In an area where a great power, Russia, has interest, has a strategy, these two actors change the dynamics dramatically, and Russia is not happy with that. So this is the reason why it tried to reverse this trend and roll back. And Russia's support to Haftar forces and Haftar's assault to Tripoli is actually targeting the relatively weaker pillar of this memorandum of understanding. And from the very beginning, I think Turkish decision makers were aware that this memorandum of understanding would be threatened by military force. That is why, from the day one, the memorandum of understanding were configured in two forms. One is the delimitation of the maritime jurisdiction in Eastern Mediterranean. The second one is the military and security aspect of the agreement. The second issue is Russia saw a window of opportunity in Libya. This is to say that United States, apart from very minimal engagements in Libya, is not a prominent actor in Libyan issue. That is why Russia feels comfortable to engage in a high level in Libyan conflict. Rather than the United States, United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, this kind of regional powers are upfront in Libyan issue. And Russia is aware that there is no cost of taking down the government of national accord, unfortunately. Yes, a lot of international actors are paying lip service to government of national accord as the UN recognized government, but Russia is very well aware that if it is threatened, no big coalition in international community would be willing to defend this and would be willing to make Russia pay a heavy price. And another opportunity Russia is viewing in Libya is that Russia is said to be gaining the most by engaging in this conflict. Because the other supporters of Haftar, such as France, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, they are all lesser and minor actors compared to Russia. So Russia can hold a lot of cards in its dealing with West in general sense in many issues. And also another thing that Russia sees in Libya, that it is without cost to attack the government of national accord in Libya via Haftar, because it is already being supported by many actors, such as we mentioned, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Israel, France. So Haftar is already enjoying a huge level of support. So let's say Haftar managed to control whole of the country, and Russia became the main patron of this Haftar, such as the one in Syria. It would be without cost. In Syria, Russia is the only actor who is behind the Assad regime, along with Iran, and it is paying a heavy price. The Assad regime is quite highly isolated, and it is facing embargoes. And how am I doing in terms of time limits? 2 minutes, okay. So in a sense, Russia is set to gain the most in a free rider fashion, to say the least. It would gain the lion's share if it became the main patron of Haftar in Libya, because we witnessed in Syria that yes, Iran was a staunch supporter of Assad regime. It had huge impact on Assad regime, but after the point Russia entered physically and militarily in Syria, Iran was sidelined to a great extent. So this might be replicated in Libya as well. And as a last point, I would skip two more points, and hopefully we will deal with them in Q&A session. A Libyan version of Assad regime in Libya would would provide a lot of advantages to Russia. Not to mention the oil riches, the potential to tap the oil riches of the country. It would give potentially the Russia to construct a military base in the Mediterranean coast of the country. This would make Russia capable of containing and closing in the NATO countries, European countries from the south. It would be a neighbor of Greece and Italy, to say the least. And this is something, a temptation in a way that Russia cannot resist. And given the importance attached by Russia strategically to the military bases in Syria, Tartus and Hmeimim bases, this would be a game changer in Libyan theater. And the military base would also grant the opportunity to Russia to deploy, for example, air defense systems. And this would make controlling a huge area in Mediterranean and closing the area to, for example, NATO aerial elements. I will stop here, and hopefully we will discuss more of the other dynamics in Q&A session. Thank you very much.
Bilgehan, thank you very much. Now I want to turn to the audience. If you have any questions, you can ask your questions in Arabic, English, or Turkish. So if you have any questions. Yes, please.
Ben şunu sormak istiyorum. Harun Aykaç.
Kime sorduğunuzda söylerseniz.
Tabii Mustafa Sakızlı Bey'e, eski TRT Erbil temsilcisi. Efendim şimdi şöyle söyleniliyor. Yaklaşık Libya'nın %90'ını Hafter elinde bulunduruyor. %10'unu da şu anda hem Birleşmiş Milletler'in tanıdığı hem de bizim anlaşma yapmış olduğumuz meşru hükümet. Yani Hafter'in başarılı olması halinde Türkiye'nin ikinci bir planı var mı acaba? Teşekkür ediyorum.
Okay, so the question is, if Haftar becomes successful, does Turkey have a plan B, a second plan, right? Okay, so it is to Mustafa Sakızlı.
I will answer in Arabic again.
Okay, as you wish.
فكرة أن حفتر يسيطر على 90% من ليبيا غير حقيقية. الغالبية العظمى من ليبيا صحاري. على الشريط الساحلي تقريبا السيطرة لحفتر إلى سرت وما بعد سرت إلى حدود تونس هي في غالبها تحت سيطرة حكومة الوفاق. صحيح أن حفتر يهدد جنوب طرابلس من بعض الجيوب ترهونة مثلا التي يتحرك من خلالها. كذلك 70% تقريبا من الكثافة البشرية موجودة في مناطق حكومة الوفاق اللي هي المنطقة الغربية والشمال البحر الأبيض المتوسط. في حالة سيطرة حفتر على ليبيا أنا في اعتقادي لن يتم ذلك، لكن في مثل هذه الحالة بالنسبة لتركيا ستخسر كل شيء في ليبيا، وليس ذلك فقط، فنظام مثل نظام حفتر سيكون قاعدة خلفية للدول التي هي ضد تركيا والمشاريع التي ضد تركيا. فحفتر هو جزء من حلف فيه الإمارات وفيه مصر وفيه إسرائيل وفيه فرنسا، وهذه أغلبها لا تكن خيرا لتركيا والاقتصاد التركي وللنمو في تركيا. وليبيا دولة بها إمكانيات كبيرة سواء مساحة موقع أو موارد مالية، ستستخدم هذه الموارد ضد تركيا في ظني، وكذلك موضوع شرق البحر الأبيض المتوسط. فليس لنا خيار كليبيين ضد رجوع الاستبداد وضد مشروع حفتر ومن يساعده، وليس لدى تركيا خيار إلا أن ننجح في يعني القضاء على هذا الحلف المضاد لنا. شكرا.
Soru yoksa var. Bilal?
شكرا لستا. أود أن أسأل الأستاذ مراد يشلتاش وأيضا الأستاذ مصطفى ساكزلي. بالنسبة للأستاذ مصطفى، ما هي توقعات الطرف الليبي؟
The expectations of the Libyan side from the Turkish side, and Mr. Murad, how, in the opinion of Turkey, what are the steps of Turkey that will be taken in Libya? Thank you. شكرا جزيلا لما قدمتوه من العروض. البعض يقول
government changes in Libya, the new government, whoever the new one is, will want to continue to be a part of the maritime jurisdiction agreement with Turkey, since it provides a larger maritime jurisdiction area for Libya. How do you consider this argument? Thank you.
To whom?
Both three of the speakers.
To three of them. Okay. Let's start with you. Okay.
Maybe the last question, Mr. Khalid can answer it.
السيد خالد يستطيع أن يجاوب السؤال الأخير أعتقد. تمام ماشي. آخر سؤال يجاوب الأستاذ خالد. For the question of Mr. Bilal, when we talk about what is the expectation of the Libyans from the intervention of Turkey, we have a lot of expectations, but the most important one is the support, the military support, the fast one, actually, to support the Libyan forces who are with the GNA to stop the assault on Tripoli. When we talk about the Turkish support and Haftar and all the supporting forces of Haftar, they want to act fast to get Tripoli. They have the militias of Russia, etc., so to get into Tripoli. So we need a fast reaction to stop this assault fastly and swiftly, because Haftar has the upper hand in the air assault, because he has support from outside and he has really very trained militias working for him. Also, this is another expectation. We need to have the control of GNA all around Libya, and to have the rebuilding of Libya in general. أعتقد أن هناك 4 عمليات تركيا سوف تعمل عليها لتأخذها، أو خطوات الأساسية. أولا تركيا سوف تعطي المساعدة
to prevent Khalifa Haftar taking control of Tripoli. I think this is really urgent, and it's a very time-sensitive issue. And secondly, probably Turkey is going to have to push back Khalifa Haftar from the current position. And number 3 is Turkey is going to enforce the political process for both parties. And I think the Berlin process will be the main platform to discuss this political solution, because Turkey does not believe that military solution is the ultimate solution in the case of Libya. And the final one is Turkey's contribution to the rehabilitation of political process and restructuring of state. So there are huge problems in Libya in terms of state structure and in terms of the power and strong of politics. So therefore Turkey, I think, will contribute to do that in Libya.
Okay, thank you. Bilgehan?
Yes, I would like to touch upon the last question about if the government changes, even if the government changes, the incumbent government will be still supporting the maritime agreement. I don't agree at all, because this coalition behind Haftar is not a coalition that's making logical calculations. It is a biased coalition, and it is well documented that if other actors in Eastern Mediterranean, such as Israel, Egypt, they would be better off by signing maritime agreement with Turkey, but still they are resisting it, and they are, operating against Turkey's interests. And the same actors are the ones, supporting Khalifa Haftar, and the target of this assault towards Tripoli and GNA is reversing and rolling back the gains of this agreement. The agreement itself is the target of this military assault. That is why it is not possible for a coming government to continue this agreement in that sense. Thank you.
Mr. Sakızlı, can you rephrase the last question to His Excellency Mr. Khalid Mishri? Şeyi getirir misiniz ön tarafa?
السؤال كان هل في حالة تغيير الحكومة
Of course, the Turkish interests at the moment are being challenged not only because of this agreement. If Haftar reaches the government, and this, God help, I think that this is something that will be used for the politics. And the politics here are the UAE and Egypt and Saudi Arabia triangle. And their position at the moment is very obvious against Turkey. And they have, of course, interest of Paris and of France and Italy in mind also. And when we know that the Prime Minister, the Italy Prime Minister visited Egypt also. So, and we hear a lot of what has been mentioned by Haftar and some of the people of the members of the parliament who think that they are the head of the parliament. So Aguila Saleh, who went to Greece, and they started to prepare for some partnership with Greece. I don't think that this is correct. I think that the only alternative here is to choose democracy and the interest of all. Other than that, what will this mean to Turkey is to have another siege in the Mediterranean. Because when we look at this closed sea, we see Spain, France, Italy, Greece on the north side, and the other parties are not really into agreement if they're not completely fighting each other. We see South Cyprus, also Israel, Lebanon, Syria, Egypt in the south. Tunisia is on the edge. It's very fragile. Algeria also trying to protect itself, and it's under the shadow of France somehow. And also they don't have this Morocco also don't have a specific position. In the last period, they tried to actually put some obstacles on the Turkish experts. So if GNA don't win, I think that this will create another siege in the Mediterranean. But when GNA actually wins, that means that 2,000 kilometers of a coastal side will win, which is Turkey. So the alternative of this coalition, Turkey and Libya, is a strategic one, and it will be very dangerous to threaten it, to put it in front of a lot of threats. Since that we have actually reached this point also, and as it was in the Gaddafi time, they tried to stop this partnership for the interest of Greece, and this is something very, very dangerous, and we don't want that happening again. شكرا جزيلا لهذه الملاحظات الأخيرة. أشكركم جميعا لمشاركتكم في هذه الجلسة. نأمل سيد فوزي يريد أن يقدم كلمة. نعم، معنا كذلك Naib
Yardımcısı Fevzi Bey var. O da bir noktada bir katkı yapmak istiyor. Yeah, the floor is yours, please.
شكرا سيد مدحت. أنا لدي تعقيب على السيد
Bilgehan.
بلجهام فيما يخص دور روسيا في ليبيا واعتقادها في غياب الدور الأمريكي.
and the absence of American role. I think that the Russian position in Libya is different completely than what it is in Syria because of different issues. Russia don't have an existing in Libya, okay, a true existing in Libya, and they don't want to play a bigger role at the moment, at least. Libya, in the independent stage, to reach independency, they had they were very successful because there was no specific position from the different powers towards Libya, and I think that this is something positive for the Libyans, and this will also help us to reach independencies. And for the agreement, I think that Russia will try to stop this somehow because they have an alternative project about the natural gas, and I think that Russia wants to have this project. And also, what stops Russia from expanding is the creation of a coalition of Haftar. They have Russia, France, Italy, and with Egypt and UAE, and maybe they have some fears. This coalition have fears of having Russia in this coalition, actually, so they're not really clear about that. And at the moment, they need Russia to be able to continue in this struggle. So I think that Russia has different actually stand here. They might use it or use this advantages to get bigger wins, maybe, but we're not sure. So also I think that America is there trying to manage the situation from the backstage, and I think that Libya will continue as an important area for the strategic position of America in the region, and they will have a stand in the current situation. شكرا جزيلا لهذه المداخلة المهمة. فقط قبل أن ننهي
Let me mention two things. The first one is it's the United States and other Western countries who are paving the way for the Russian intervention to Syria and to Libya, unfortunately. So they are not taking their responsibilities. The second thing is General Haftar is known as a Libyan actor. He himself is Libyan. But even though his group is known as the Libyan National Army, those who are fighting with him are not Libyans. They are Russians, Sudanese, and from other nationalities, Egyptians. Second, for this reason, they are not Libyan and they are not national. The weapons, the ammunition that he uses, his group uses, is not Libyan. It's also Egyptian, Emirati, French, etc. And the third one, its group is not a regular army. So he is neither Libyan, nor national, nor army. Thank you very much for attending.